very good afternoon to all of you and welcome to the pre-show before our live safari, where you get to join along on the back of our vehicles or occasionally on walk in the 5 minutes before we start our live safari proper. But just a quick introduction, because I think it's must be a bit confusing if you're a new viewer and you've just discovered this live stream and all of a sudden there's somebody babbling at you. My name is Jamie, and this afternoon Sebastian is on camera with me. Woo! Doing a little jazz hand there. And we will be heading out into the wilderness to take you on a 3-hour live safari from one of the coolest places on the planet, I think. I'm biased. And of course, starting to feel a little bit nostalgic as our departure looms ever near. But yes, exciting times. We might even, you never know, we might see Brent this afternoon. I don't know. I'm not sure. You just never know what to expect. Wendy is currently our only functioning vehicle. This is Wendy. Wendy is currently the only functioning one. Rusty and the Jig Jag are currently in the doctor's bay, but hopefully one of them will be out by the sunset safari. But while we wait for our mechanics to do their sterling work, we will be out with Tristan on bushwalk and of course the wonderful James Hendry in the tent, who I'm sure is scurrying about as we speak, searching for something fascinating to show you underneath the microscope. So all in all, it's a live safari. We don't know what to expect. Seb and I have had some wonderful drives together. Yes. We have, haven't we? We've had some really good moments. Yes. I'm hoping that luck prevails this afternoon. And since I've been away for 3 days, feels like forever, but it's only been 3 days, I'm going to reacquaint myself with Djuma and figure out where all the animals are hiding. And they are hiding. They're doing a very good job of hiding at the moment. Oh, except for that dung beetle that nearly took out an eye. It's alright. Both are still fully functioning. I went to Hoedspruit to pack up and repack some of the boxes that Brent had packed in our house. We're now all sorted. Everything's packed up, house is empty, ready for tenants to move in. It was quite sad, actually. It was the fairy lights, Seb, that broke my heart. Taking down the fairy lights.
Oh,
That was the saddest moment. After they were gone, it didn't feel so bad. Said goodbye to my bush babies that live in the roof. And all sorted, done and dusted. Spent a lot of time carrying heavy boxes up into storage.
Turn the page.
Turn the page, exactly. And what an exciting page turner it shall be. Brent keeps sending me pictures, and I can't decide if I want the pictures or if I don't want the pictures, because they're such amazing photographs of what he's seeing in the Mara. Of course I want to see the pictures, but still, occasionally I want to smack him over the head. Black rhino out in the open. Oh, so excited. So excited. And you will be greeted officially this afternoon by Tristan. I'm going to do the rest of this pre-show in reverse because I want to go and see what made a splash in the water. I think it was just a bird or an insect, but you never know. That's what I'm going to go and investigate. Could I be that lucky and there's actually just a leopard right here? Probably not, but you never know. Wouldn't be the first time we've had a surprise. I don't think we're going to have a surprise, though. Ooh, forgot that little quirk of Wendy's. Sorry, Wendy. There is no leopard here, but the afternoon is yet young.
This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
It is a beautiful, warm, early autumn afternoon. The perfect weather for an African safari. This is safariLIVE.
Ready. Standing by.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are live, you are live.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to your Tuesday afternoon live safari. My name is James Henry, and I shall be talking to you alternately from lying in the grass, in and around the tent, and various other places. But that's not nearly as important as you. Hashtag safariLIVE is how you're going to get hold of us. Now, we are coming to you from a glorious afternoon of 26 degrees Celsius, 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Marvelous, and as you can see, we are in beautiful Africa, where the landscape has turned from verdant green to golden autumnal. Right, we're going to head off towards the tent now and tell you that we have a big full team out here at the moment. We have Jamie around the place, we've got Tristan around the place, and maybe a little bit later we'll be having some Mara feed too. Let's head straight across right now to Jamie.
A very good afternoon to all of you and welcome on this afternoon's Sunset Safari. My name is Jamie and this afternoon Seb is on camera with me once again. And we have had, I was talking about this earlier, but I'm not quite sure how much of it you actually got to hear. Seb and I have had some truly fortunate drives, and I'm hoping that this afternoon is going to prove to be no different and our luck will continue. Now, it's really, very warm out here on this afternoon's Sunset Safari. Apparently it's 26 degrees centigrade, which is 78 in Fahrenheit. I think it's a bit warmer in the sun, which means waterhole time. I'm going to reacquaint myself with where all of the animals are after a 3-day absence. It's amazing how odd you feel. After even just being away for 3 days, you feel a little bit out of things and a bit disconnected. Now, I'm going to be checking the water holes and then hopefully helping Tristan find that leopard. I know he's planning on searching, well, he said he was planning on searching for a leopard on foot. I might go and give him a hand in that area. Excuse me. While I recover my ability to breathe and speak and swallow at the same time, let's head across to Tristan, who's not having any such problems.
We aren't at all, Jamie. We are having a beautiful afternoon already. It is the perfect weather for a bushwalk this afternoon. Now, my name is Tristan, and on camera today I've got David. And like I say, we're going to be out looking around for leopards. Well, actually, Jamie said that we'll be out looking for leopards. We're going to try and give Jamie a hand. I know Taylor had very, very, very fresh tracks this morning, so we're going to try and go and see if we can't help and give a hand into those thicker blocks where it's a little bit tougher to be able to see the tracks. Other than that, it seems like not much has changed. I was quite surprised. I would have thought with the bit of heat that we've had that potentially the grass might be a little bit browner since I've been away for a few days, but it all looks very similar. The grass is still quite green and hasn't changed too much. There's still quite a number of butterflies around, which is really, really good. So hopefully it will be a beautiful afternoon filled with insects. Now remember, you the viewers are the most important part of this process, and it is interactive. So remember, you can use the hashtag safariLIVE on Twitter to be able to get hold of us should you want to say hello, or if you want to send through any questions that you might have about the African wilderness. Now, what I was thinking is that while we are sort of walking at this time of the day, it's still quite warm. A lot of the leopards are probably going to still be fast asleep and really not moving too much, and that's why I think with the had today, maybe they went into a thicket or an area where I could potentially have lay up for the day in the shade, so I want to use that to our advantage and try and get into that area as quick as possible so that they don't start moving before it gets a little bit cooler, and then we end up being just on the trail of them the whole afternoon. So we're going to try head up into that section, but it's also a very, very good time now for all things small. So we're going to find that butterflies are really going to be quite active now before it gets a little bit too cool, and they then try and find somewhere to rest for the night. So it's a good time to be looking for them and any other insects that potentially could be around on a lot of these small little grasses that we have, and the last remaining flowers of the summer into autumn now. And so the sort of greenery and liveliness of the bush is starting to disappear a little bit, and we're ending up with a situation where not too many food sources around for the insects. Now we're going to carry on and try and see if we can't get into that area and see if we can't find any signs of these leopards. And while we do that, I think let's go across to Mr. James Henry so he can say hello from his tent.
Now, my friend Taylor McCurdy today brought me what I thought was a coffee ice cream. It is not. Do you have any idea what this is? I thought initially it was a mud ball stuck to a stick. It is not a mud ball stuck to a stick. It is a mushroom. Believe that? Quite a astounding mushroom, and watch this now as I flick it into the light. Those are the spores of the mushroom, everybody. Each one of those could become another mushroom. And I quite conveniently have put some of these under the microscope. There they are. Beautiful. I mean, it just looks like a sort of bit of mashed pumpkin, I suppose. But each one of those tiny little things, that's as close in as we can get. Each one, or each grain in that little picture there can become a new mushroom. And what I'll show you here, if I just move this down a little bit, as you can see how small they are. You can see they've got much, much smaller there. Isn't that amazing? Nice colour too. Now, one of the things that I was going to ask you to do for me today, because, you know, I don't think that I should have to do everything. I think you should have to do something too. And what I would like you to do is to tell me your favourite colour in the African wilderness. You may have 2 words to describe the colour. You may not use any of the primary colours. No red, no blue, no green, no yellow. No, you can use those, no orange or purple or mauve or black or white. So you can't use any of those words, but you can use 2 words to describe your favourite colour, and then you can tell us what it is. Okay? 2 words, your favourite colour out here, and what it is that gives you that colour. Hashtag safariLIVE. In the meantime, Jamie Patterson, I believe, has got some, cows.
Some cows indeed, and the reflection of them staring pensively into the water. So from a mushroom to these fun guys. Ha ha ha. I cracked myself up. James has been asking for a good description of colours to describe Africa. I'm going to think of mine. But while we do, we've got some buffalo to look at, which is a really, truly lovely sight, because I've hardly seen any buffalo in the last 4 or so months. So to see these Duggar boys at Treehouse Dam. Oh, apparently we're having some streaming issues. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with you very shortly. We're just going to take a very quick break. There we go. We said we wouldn't be gone for all that long. And we do apologize to our regular YouTube viewers, because apparently YouTube isn't coming up, but Ustream and Periscope are both working, so I'm sure that comes as a vast relief to everybody concerned. We've got these two buffalo who are still contemplating lying down, in the water, which I think is an excellent idea. And if I hadn't just seen exactly what these two buffalo have done in the water before they lay down, I might be more tempted to join them. But as it is, I now know that that particular part of this waterhole is now a, well, let's just say it's been well fertilized. Let's put it that way. And the fish have been provided with some potential food and some nitrates as well. The buffalo settling down in their waterhole. I wanted to actually ask you all a question, but now I'm wondering whether I should, with our YouTube videos, our YouTube viewers absent. But hopefully most of you have jumped across onto the different platforms. I really want you to share screenshots of buffalo from this time last year and the buffalo now, because the difference is so, to me, so incredibly vast. I had almost forgotten just what large animals buffalo truly are when they're in their prime and when you reach the end of the rainy season like this, because these boys are in such spectacular condition. They're well fed, there's not a bone showing or sticking through their skin, and after the drought that we had last year and the serious shortage of rain and shortage of food that resulted, there's an enormous difference between the buffalo of last year and the buffalo of this year. And these, of course, are the survivors. A lot of them didn't survive, but those that have are looking magnificent. And whilst that doesn't mean that this dry season isn't going to be a tough one, it's still a pleasure to see them at least going into the dry season with something of a better or more of an advantage than we had with the buffalo last year. Of course, that has also meant that the buffalo have been largely absent from Djuma, which is why it's nice to stop and spend some time with them. Don't forget, just quickly, while I'm thinking about it, don't forget to send through your questions or your comments, or your answers perhaps to James's colour quiz on #safariLIVE on Twitter. Let us know your thoughts and feelings. Come on, buddy. Your one pal's down. Perhaps he's a bit like, you know, you get those people when they go into swimming pools and it's getting past the stomach that's the problem. Or walking into the sea. It just takes that little bit of courage. Is that a yellow-billed oxpecker? Or could it be? It is. Yeah. It is too. How's that? Rare buffalo, oh, and a rare yellow-billed oxpecker. Much, much less common than their red-billed cousins. That is a lovely bird for some of you to add to your bird lists. I know those of you, or quite a few of you, that have only recently discovered our live stream have been frantically working away at building up your list of birds before the migration of the various bird species started. But there we go. Here's a nice one to add to your list. A yellow-billed oxpecker. So called because it's got yellow on its bill, as opposed to just red. And you can see it's sifting through the buffalo's coat, searching for any external parasites, ticks, of course, being the most common. And they will be particularly prevalent in patches like this, where the buffalo's got a bit of a skin disease. Oh, watch out, oxpecker, you might go for an unexpected swim. That oxpecker's not going to be caught out. He's far too wise to the tricks of old Duggar boys. And this is what buffalo bulls do on hot afternoons like this afternoon. Oh, I love the ripple effect. The rays of light reflecting off the water. Very handsome. Or at least as handsome as a buffalo bull can possibly be. Bonnie, good question. Bonnie would like to know, we're having a bit of a colour-themed show this afternoon. Bonnie would like to know why buffalo are so dark in colour, which is a sensible question because it's so hot out here that it is a good point to raise, since dark colours are likely to be hotter rather than lighter colours, which will be slightly cooler. You'll find that lighter coloured animals tend to stand out very vividly out here, so a darker colour is probably a more sensible option. but I'm not 100% sure why buffalo are so dark in color. You do occasionally get albino buffalo, an unexpected find, but there's a very rare percentage of the population that are pure white in color, and that's hugely disadvantageous because it makes them far more susceptible to the effects of the sun. They often get skin cancers, and they also just stand out far more clearly to predators. Where I suppose if you've got a seething mass of buffalo in a breeding herd that could consist of hundreds, even potentially thousands of animals, I suppose being one dark mass is a good way to go. I can't think of any other reason why buffalo might be dark in color, except perhaps it might protect their skin a little bit. Might be hotter, but they can always go and find themselves a nice water wallow and enjoy themselves in there. That, of course, is supposedly why Duggar boys get their name Duggar boys. The mud boys. They like to go and wallow in mud. It's one of the things to be cautious of if out on foot, and an awareness that you could encounter any wallowing animal in a waterhole. It's just good to be aware of that. Whether it be hippos, crocodiles, buffalo, rhino, they all enjoy spending the odd hot afternoon at the spa, which is exactly what these buffalo bulls are doing. It's so nice to finally see some buffalo. Apparently they were here yesterday, but it is an absolute relief. Right, on that note, because we never know what you can expect on a live safari, we're going to be taking a short and imaginary break, but please don't go anywhere because it is imaginary, and we will be seeing you in the not-too-distant future, and who knows what we might put on your screen. Okie dokie, and now we're in an imaginary internet break. No, ad break. I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. Obviously, we're practicing for the television shows that are going to be this weekend, and if we mess up our advert timings, then not only do we look unprofessional, but then Kirsty shouts at us, and then Rebecca will shout at me, and then all in all, it's just quite not really worth the hassle. So there you go. This is an imaginary advert break. You could decide what we're advertising. I don't know. Maybe it's a treatment at a spa. The African spa. There's a suspicious amount of bubbles that just came up next to that buffalo. I think it was just a tail flick, but you never know. Bubbles popping up. Okay. Well, buffalo, this appears to be what I plan on doing for the rest of the afternoon. Don't forget, I'd love to see your screenshots of buffalo then versus now. You must have a few gathered. Admittedly, most of the buffalo that we saw were being chomped on by the Nkuhumas. But if you have any screenshots of buffalo from a year ago or let's say 6 months ago, please do share. From something very imposing, but not by any stretch of the imagination all that beautiful, let's go across to something very pretty with James.
Very unkind. I think that buffalo are very, well, not necessarily beautiful, but, I wouldn't like to be described as beautiful, but I might like to be described as handsome. For example, Fergus is very handsome. He is now, yes, he is currently filming some very beautiful butterflies. It is all in the eye of the beholder, I suppose. And what a relief that is. Otherwise, some of us, of course, would never be thought of as handsome or beautiful, would we, Fergus? No. Good. So there are two butterflies, and they're known, well, quite appropriately, as maidens. I don't know why they're known as maidens. I'm not sure if they're maidenly or not. These two certainly aren't. There's nothing maidenly about this lot. This is dare we use the term? No, I'm not going to use it. I'm too nervous. They are in the process of making further butterflies, of course. And I think they're just rather spectacular. I don't know a huge amount about them, so stand by there. You keep looking at them. And what I will do is quickly look them up. Because you can hear me, and I can sort of hear you, and I know that we are having some streaming difficulties, so we can probably just spend a bit of time doing this and not worry too much about, maintaining an enormous amount of an enormous amount of momentum. I'm confused because you know what? They're not butterflies. They're moths. How very embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed. I hope YouTube isn't working, because if Judy H was to hear me call that a butterfly, she would almost certainly tweet me until I was blue in the face. Now we're apparently going to go back towards television, of course, which is very, very exciting. 20 seconds to go back to TV with all 3 viewers managing to watch us on Periscope. Here we go.